Okay. Good morning. This is Kelli Rodriguez with One Innovation Labs, One Hemp, and I have the pleasure this morning to be with Dr. Alexey, who's the co-founder, president, and chief scientific officer of Industrial Sonomechanics. And I'd like Dr. Alexey to talk a little bit about why sonomechanics is important for those business owners in the cannabis CBD space.
Yes, thank you for this introduction and the opportunity. We provide the technology for people to convert oil-compatible bioactives, lipophilic bioactive substances, for example CBD, THC, and things like that, into a water-compatible form. Some people call it water-soluble CBD and THC. What we specifically provide is ultrasonic equipment, scalable equipment that can break particles into nano-sized particles. And we provide formulations, which we call NANOSTABILIZERs. It's a family of products that is the other side of the puzzle. So you need two things. You need to be able to create nanoparticles in order to make oils behave as if they were water compatible or water soluble. You need to break them into nanoparticles and stabilize those nanoparticles so that they don't go back into the oil phase. So we provide both of those aspects. And people who would like to create water-soluble CBD and THC could take advantage of what we offer. All they need to have is their bioactive and some common sense and some distilled water. But we help them along the way completely. Standard operating procedures, video tutorials. We do Zoom calls if people are nervous about installing the system, but there's never been a case where someone wasn't able to use our equipment. It's very plug and play, very simple, and the results are easy to get, predictable, scalable.
How long has this machine and this equipment been on the market?
Our type of technology has been around for about 10 years. Okay. So our company exists for about 15 years. We started with the invention of what we call the BARBELL horn. BARBELL horn is a specific part of an ultrasonic processor that is essential in order for you to be able to scale that processor up. Before we introduced this BARBELL horn technology, ultrasound was limited to lab applications. So you could work with a small vial, 10, 20 milliliters of a substance, and sonicate it and create the results that you wanted on a lab scale. But as soon as you scaled that up, you would lose the quality of the results. The BARBELL horn changed all that, so now the equipment is scalable. We've introduced it about 15 years ago, and then it took us about 5 years to build plug-and-play processors that we offered. And what we started with is pharmaceutical industries. Pharmaceutical industries are different from cannabis industry clients in that they typically have their own formulations. So they just need the equipment. When we provided equipment, they could take it from there. They could work out all the surfactants, everything else, and they know about nanoemulsions. With the cannabis, when that came along, and it was an explosion of business, because with the pharmaceutical industry, the process is complicated. They're very regulated, so
very bureaucratic.
Hard to work with them. When it does work, it's great, but it takes a while to get there. And then the cannabis industry basically came along with the same exact need to convert something that's an oil but is bioactive into a water-soluble form so that you can make a beverage out of it, or a tablet that falls apart in your mouth and things like that. So we immediately got into that, and that was great, but people had trouble working out formulations. So we started by explaining and teaching and giving them tutorials and writing white papers and things like that. And then eventually we thought, well, why don't we just make an all-in-one formulation that people can just use? So we did that, and everything became much simpler. At this point, no scientific background or even technical background is required to run our equipment. So,
do you want to give the audience your website?
Yes, it's sonomechanics.com. S as in Sam, O-N-O, and the word mechanics altogether, sonomechanics, mechanics of the sound.com, and all the information comes from there.
Thank you, Dr. Alexey.